Hello, students. Welcome to this week's episode of English 355. I am Sister Millard, and today we are talking about writing essays. And because we are switching gears just a little bit this week. This week we've been reading our books and then kind of having discussions about them, but now we are going to switch gears and actually start writing about the books that we've been talking about in a professional and academic way. So I just wanted to make sure you knew how to do that and you knew my expectations for your essays. And if you follow what I put in this video, your essays will be so much better. So please do it, and I expect it anyway. So if you don't, then I'll have to start deducting points, and I hate that. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about MLA format. All essays in college have to be in the correct format, and it needs to be Times New Roman for my class. It has to be double-spaced, 1-inch margins, title. I grade you on the creativity of your title, so please come up with something better than essay number 1. It has to have page numbers with last name. All you have to do is say insert in Word. 2 down is page numbers. I know that because I have to do it all the time. Even for my fictional writing that I do, all of those have to have page numbers for any editors that come in contact with it. You need to have an essay heading, and often people forget this, and I cannot stress enough, you cannot miss out on any of these, but make sure to have an essay an essay heading, which has your name, the class, my name, Sister Millard, and the date. And the one thing I ask in addition to that is how many words are in the essay, because it's hard to grade within iLearn. So I just wanted to pop over real quick and show you what that looks like. So look, perfect, I have one right here. And I will say all I did was Google MLA format, and this popped right up. It was like the first hit on the images. And so if you ever need to know what it looks like, here it is. There are a million resources on the internet. So look, right here I've got the page number. Over here I've got the essay heading. So the student name, professor name, course, and the date. Okay, and then they've got a title. So that's what an MLA formatted paper will look like at all times. It should not look like anything else. And I know that that seems like, oh, well, we're all having to fit in this little box. But I ask you to do this because this is what is expected of college students. And I kind of think, in addition to that, if a future boss asks you to format something in a specific way, you are going to want to do that. So I'm trying to teach you to do what is required of potentially a future employment. So there you go, essay format. And also, if you decide to go into academia in the future, this is what you have to do anyway too. And you'll be using it all through college, so that works. Okay, this is the basic essay format. You start with an introductory paragraph, and then what that does is just introduces the topic that you're going to be talking about. Often I have people that jump right into it and they haven't introduced the book or why they're talking about the book or anything. So make sure to do that so the people that are reading your essay can understand what's happening. One thing I want to mention is often people feel like an essay has to be over the top with its writing. It uses big words and very convoluted ideas. But the best essays are the ones that can be easily understood by everyone. So think about that when you're writing an essay. So you've got your introductory paragraph, and that needs to have a thesis statement. The thesis statement is usually at the end, and it's talking about everything that you will then be talking about in your essay. So you would then just lay it out on the line and tell us exactly what your essay is going to be about. So in this class, it could be something like Harry Potter is a modern fantasy because this, this, and this. And that's all you have to do. And then what you'll do is in your supporting paragraphs, you will tell why it fits into the modern fantasy category, and then you'll have your closing paragraph. And I just have a little a little example. So here we have the opening paragraph, and my thesis statement, like I said, was Harry Potter is a modern fantasy because it suspends belief in this way, it focuses on details in this way, and it has a worthwhile theme here, okay? So then you would go on to the next paragraph, and you would give a little 2-sentence synopsis, say, orphan boy finds out he is a wizard who famously defeated the worst wizard of all time as a baby. Bam, that was 1 sentence. And it just laid out Harry Potter, and then you can go in your paragraphs and talk about that. So that would be the first, you would go on in your first paragraph and say, it suspends belief by making you believe that it could actually happen in this world today. And then you would go on to your next paragraph, and you would talk about, you know, the details that J.K. Rowling puts into it, and then you would go on and do it. And then in the closing paragraph, you would hit your best points. Say, Harry Potter is a modern fantasy, and it's, you know, just wrap everything you wrote into a bow, with a big bow, and make sure the audience really knows what you thought about it. Okay, now we're gonna move on to editing your first draft. And editing, I'm just gonna read that sentence for because editing is the difference between average writing and superb writing. So I read that word for word because down here I originally wrote that sentence. Editing makes the difference from writing average and superb writing. Like, that is the clunkiest sentence I've ever heard. But I just, I was just tossing down ideas, and then when I was going through, I was like, I went through and really thought about what sentence I wanted to say. And most of the time, that's making it as concise as possible. So my sentence up here is much more concise than it is down below. And it's more than catching errors. It's making the best sentences possible. Here are some things not to do in an essay. Please do not spend the whole essay summarizing the book. That is not the point of the essay. We don't need to know every plot point. Like I said, that 1 sentence of Harry Potter is enough for me to write an essay about it, especially since most of the books that you guys will be talking about, I have read before. That's not the case in all times, but so especially since I am the audience, any books that we read as a class, definitely you don't need to summarize in depth. It should be 3 to 4 or even 1 sentence, but not the whole thing. And please do not put illustrations from the book into your essay. It's just not necessary. It takes up space, and it cuts up the flow of the essay. Please discuss the illustrations if there are any. That is an essential point, but you don't need to put them in the essay for me to see. There are also some more editing tips, which is do not use the phrases I think, I believe, I know. I know that you're writing this essay. And when you put those phrases in, I think it's really easy to put them in the beginning of sentences all the time. And it makes it so I already know that this is your opinion and you are the expert on your opinion. But when you put those sentences in, it lessens your argument. So please avoid that. And I know it's difficult because I do it too. So I allow myself to write them the first time. And then when I'm editing, I just go delete, 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 because they're not necessary. So please delete them. And stick to 1 subject per supporting paragraph. So if you are saying it's a modern fantasy because it suspends belief, just stick to that 1 subject for that whole essay or that whole paragraph, and then move on to the next one. All of your supporting statements need to be about that 1 thing. And read your essay out loud. It makes it so not only can you catch a lot more errors, but you can hear any sentences that might be off. I read my whole 400-page thesis out loud when I got my master's degree. Every book that I write, I also read out loud, and I listen to it. My Mac has a feature where it will read the book to me, and it makes it so I can hear what it would sound like from a different standpoint. So I recommend that if you have the option. Then a few more things I wanted to mention is, if you do what I just told you, not only will your essay be better, but it's super easy. You just have a perfect outline. I'll write there for you. So opening paragraph, 3 supporting paragraphs, closing paragraph, bam, and you're done. So keep that in mind as you're writing. And I'm super excited to read your essays. I learn a lot, and the books that I haven't read before, I love to learn about them. And I often, after I read an essay, I walk over to Goodreads, figuratively, and say, want to read that book, because I'm always interested in what students are reading and what you have to say about books. So I'm super excited. And if you have any questions about writing essays, let me know. Post to the question board. You can also email me, but I love the question board because if somebody else has that same question, they can go look at it from there. So I look forward to reading your essays, and I will see you all soon. I think my thing disappeared. Okay, bye.